Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, 1, 2, 3.
We are here to do creative owner financing. I know it's not the sexiest topic, but it should be, honestly, the most sexy topic out there. And I'll tell you why. 9 out of 10 properties do not have enough equity for you to flip or wholesale. And that means that there's a lot of people out there that need your help to do something with their properties. And we're all not investors. What are we? For the new people, what are we again? That's right.
Hi, I'm Victor Maas, real estate attorney, broker, and investor, but no one really cares. What they care about is that I'm a problem solver. So that's what I do for a living, is solve problems.
I'm going to show you to find deals you never even knew existed.
Deals are everywhere, but you got to get off your butt.
One deal is all it takes to change your life. Victor freaking Maas, that's right.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a short little presentation on creative owner financing. And in a few moments, I'm going to have Sam come in. Sam Madrid's done over 1,000 deals. And I'm telling you, he does this in his sleep just like I do. But he does it differently. He goes after owner financing, buyers, and private money. It's a really cool way to make money. And very few investors do it. And honestly, there's more deals that way than there is in wholesaling and flipping. All right, so who is Sam Madrid?
My cousin?
I believe you. So Sam got started back in the 1800s, or is it the 1900s? Yeah, I think it's 1900s. So Sam's done a buttload of deals. I laugh when I hear people doing 3 or 4 deals and they think they're experts. It just cracks me up. I want to go to the guy that's done over 1,000 deals. Y'all with me? Because he's got a system, not just to acquire, but to do exit strategies. So, him and Mitch Stevens, I met them like 20 years ago, and I'm telling you, these guys are the biggest badasses in town. Seriously, they do this in their sleep. They live the life that I wanted when I was getting started. You know, Sam has his house in Mexico that he goes spend half the year. He enjoys life, and he's so unassuming, you never know that this guy's the biggest badass in the room. So, y'all do me a favor, stand up. Come on, stretch your legs. Try to get up. And give a round of applause for Sam Madrid. Come on, Sam. So I'm going to give the mic. Y'all can have a seat, please. I'm going to give him the mic. We're going to do a Q&A, and then afterwards, you guys can ask him any questions you want, okay? How you doing, bud?
Doing great. Doing great.
Right.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you again. It's been a while. So, where are you from originally?
I'm from San Antonio.
And where'd you go to high school?
I went to Holmes.
Oh, I'm sorry. We both went there, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, one of my favorite parts about Sam is he got his daughter into business, and she's done a lot of deals herself. So I'm like, you know.
There's my son.
And there's your son. What are you, 21 now?
19.
19. Jesus.
And he's on his second real estate deal.
Oh my God. Damn.
It's in the blood.
I'm feeling old now.
I've got one daughter left, and I told her, hey, if you're not going to do real estate, you're not in the house.
That's right. Get out of here. Get out of here. Hell yeah. Do you, when did you get started in real estate investing?
1996.
1996. And who did you go to learn? Was it Rick or Mitch or somebody else?
I learned from Ron LeGrand.
Ron LeGrand. Okay. So I've known Ron LeGrand for many years. Many people call him the godfather of the industry. But I still think Robert Allen is the godfather. That's who he learned from.
Yeah.
We're all grandchildren of
Yeah.
Ron LeGrand.
Yeah.
And great-grandchildren. Oh, I think my mic went out.
And you're exactly right about Robert Allen.
Yeah. Very cool dude. Hold on.
That's so cool of you, met him in Key West.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Have you ever met him?
I have been to a seminar,
Yeah.
but I've not met him in person. I've met Ron many times in person.
Yeah, Ron's everywhere. The reason we like these guys, they've done all the stuff. They've made all the mistakes.
Right.
And how many deals do you think you've done in your career, if I may ask?
And I'm sure I've been doing it for 26 years, so I've probably done about 1,500, maybe 2,000 deals.
What do you think? Does he know what he's talking about a little bit? Just a little bit? Raise your hand if you've done more than 100 deals in your career. Anybody else besides us two? Okay? You need to learn from him. You need to ask him good questions afterwards, okay? So, let's get to it.
Sure.
Where do you like to buy properties today? Don't say everywhere. Where do you like to really hone in on?
I mean, I buy properties in working class neighborhoods. I'm looking for markets that people want to purchase, but traditionally could not go to a bank to get a loan. So it's basically working, I define it as working class,
Blue collar people.
blue collar.
So in San Antonio, where would that be kind of like?
Definitely the south side, all over the south side, all over the west side, all over the north central, if you know where Los Angeles Heights
I do,
is.
78201.
A lot of the east side traditionally has not been my favorite spot, but I've owned tons of houses over there. The prices have gone through the roof.
Yeah, Denver Heights.
Denver Heights, yeah.
Whitty, all those
Yeah.
areas.
So, those are the neighborhoods that I gravitate towards, more
you guys-
working class.
Yeah, do you guys get what he's doing? He's got a niche. I get a lot of people say, no, I'm gonna do everything and everywhere.
So I figured out what Victor said is absolutely true. If you learn how to do one thing well and become an expert at that one thing, you can make a fortune. And that's what I decided to do, that I was gonna be the very best that I could be at owner financing. Rent to own and owner financing, the two kind of go hand in hand. But I just decided I'm not gonna be a wholesaler. I started out at wholesaling, didn't really do that well in it. I did a few flips where I fixed up properties and I made $2,000 after 3 months and tons of headaches.
Oh, yeah.
And I just finally decided if I can do one thing well. So whatever that one thing is, whatever you guys wanna do, what Victor said is true. Be an expert at one thing. You can make a fortune at it and have a lot of financial freedom to go with it.
So, yes, I've been a licensed attorney for a long time, and people say, well, do you do divorces? Do you do this? Do you do that? Nope. Well, don't you do commercial real estate? Don't you do this? Nope. I do one thing, single-family residential homes. That's it. And I don't make tons of money as a lawyer. In fact, it's kind of like my part-time job. My number one job is finding deals. That's my number one job, because I have a lot of zeros at the end. I do one deed, $300. I do one wholesale, make $30,000. Which one should I focus on? Anybody? Yeah, there you go. Different avenue, we both are still in real estate, but different avenues, different niches. Find yours, I don't care what it is, find something. So the properties themselves, are you looking for 5,000 square feet, or what type of properties are you trying to buy?
I prefer that they're bigger than 800 square feet and probably not any bigger than 15 to 1600 square feet. The average is about 1,000 square feet. We're buying 3-bedroom, 1 baths. We prefer 3-bedroom, 2 baths. We do buy 2-bedroom, 1 baths. And those are just homes that are indicative in the working class neighborhoods that we're going after. We don't buy mansions. That's not my niche. It's not my lane. And we really try hard to stay in our lane.
Anybody ever play the game Monopoly? Yeah, I know the game. He buys Mediterranean and Baltic Avenue. Maybe sometimes he'll do a stretch and do Oriental, Vermont, and Connecticut. Yeah, I know my Monopoly. No one's ever beat me at Monopoly. Seriously, it's just a system. You gotta learn the system. He's an expert at his system. And he doesn't deviate from it. Y'all get me? He might do the occasional this, occasional that, but 99% of his time is niche. Okay? Let me keep going. Would you tell the crowd your typical deal today?
My typical deal today, and by the way, my son's here with me and also my business partner with Morsa Homes. We buy properties. We bought one over off of Pecan Valley. It was a 3-bedroom, 1 bath. We bought it for probably around $87,000. Funny, 15 years ago, I bought the house across the street for $15,000, and now we're buying this one for $87,000. It's a 3-bedroom, 1 bath. It was livable, but rough. but very livable, from our definition of livable. We will probably put about 10, 15,000 into it, so we'll probably be into the house for about 105. And we will do a rent to own. We will look for somebody that wants to give us $10,000 down today and lock in a price of about $160,000. And we will ask them to bring us an additional $20,000 over the next 2 to 3 years in the form of down payment money. So in 2 to 3 years' time, we will have sold the property for $160,000. We will have collected $30,000 down, and we will then create a note for $130,000. And I bought the property for $105,000. So we have a spread of $105,000 to $160,000. And that's my typical deal, and I'm very good about not wavering from that.
So for those who may not understand, he is in it for 105. How do you finance that?
So I personally have multiple lines of credit at a bank. So I can go draw down on my lines of credit. I've been doing it long enough that I've accumulated enough properties that are free and clear, and I've pledged different lines of properties to different banks. So I can go pull off $100,000 in 24 hours. But in the old days, when I didn't have the ability, I used private lenders. So I, with Ron LeGrand, learned that if you can learn how to look for people that are interested in getting a good return on their money that's secured by real estate without the fluctuations of the stock market, there are millions of people out there that would love to earn 8, 9, 10% on their money by making private money loans for real estate. And I would go borrow $105,000 from a private lender, and then I would wrap that loan for the $160,000 sales price.
Creating a spread.
Creating a
So even if it's
spread.
the same interest rate, one's at 100,000, one's at 160, that 160 payment covers the 100, and he's got to spread every month. So y'all get that? So what do you charge the buyer's interest rate?
So we charge 12% on the loan, and it's a fixed rate. It's high, but I tell people, what rate are you paying when you've been renting for the last 10 years and you have absolutely nothing to show for it? So when I started out, I didn't have any credit. I had no credit, not good nor bad, I had no credit. And I went and found a private lender. He came to me, and he was a retired banker. He owned a bank, he owned a savings and loan, but he had already sold it. And he was referred to me by my insurance agent, and I went to the gentleman and I asked, would you make me a loan to purchase a house? He said, yes. And he said to me, I'm gonna do this first loan with you, but I'm charging you 18%. So when I went to closing at the title company, my closing agent saw the promissory note, and he said, Sam, 18%, this is a loan shark. He says, don't do the deal. And I said, Mike, you don't understand. I just need an opportunity to get my foot in the door. So he says, don't do it, don't do it. And I said, Mike, I'm gonna do it because I'm gonna get my foot in the door. So I went, I took the loan at 18%, I turned around and I sold the house, and 6 months later, I paid off the lender. And I went back to him, and he did another loan, but this time at 15%. He did then a following loan, but at 12%. And over time, I proved that I was doing, but I put my foot through I got my foot in the door. So at 18%, and I look back, I've been doing this for 26 years, I look back and I say, damn, if I would have listened to Mike 26 years ago and not done the deal, where would I be? So it was just getting your foot in the door. And it's the same thing with people that want to buy a house from me. We charge 12%, but I tell everybody, make one extra payment a year. There's 12 payments in a month, there's 12 payments in a year. Make an extra payment of 13 every year. Instead of paying the house off in 30 years, you're going to pay it off in 22 years. Go make 2 extra payments a year, and you'll probably pay it off in about 16 years. You have to be disciplined, but it's all about getting your foot in the door.
Did they also refinance it?
What, excuse me?
Did they refinance like 5 years?
So the vast majority of people that I'm working with are never going to be able to refi. The vast majority, if their payment's $1,000 a month, they're going to pay me $1,200 a month. That extra $200 is going to pay down the principal. But, you know, I've done this for so long, but it changes people's lives. As an example, I purchased a house on the east side in Essex, in Denver Heights. And I purchased a house about 15 years ago, and I bought it for $25,000. And there was a lady living in it, and she was from Mexico. She didn't speak English. And I went to her and I said, you've been living in the house, you've already paid for it, why don't you try to own it now? And she says, what are you gonna sell it for? And I said, I'll sell it to you for $55,000. Give me $3,000 down, and then I'll do an owner finance. And she says, I don't read and I don't write. This is all in Spanish. She says, look, I'm a maid. I work for a wealthy family in Alamo Heights. She says, if you will show this to my boss who lives in Alamo Heights, and he says, yes, I want to buy the house. So I got a hold, she put me in touch with her boss, the gentleman in Alamo Heights. I explained what I was doing, and he said, send me the legal docs. So I sent him the legal docs, and he calls me 2 days later, and he says, I'll tell you what, he says, she's gonna go ahead and buy the house, but your down payment's not gonna come from her, it's gonna come from me. So the boss paid her the down payment. Her payment was fixed at 12% interest, and it paid off in 15 years. It was $500 a month. 15 years have now gone by. This lady, Miss Morales, paid me off the loan, she owes me $0, but her house, because it's in Denver Heights, is probably worth about $150,000 now. So here's an example of, yes, me charging an high interest rate, but an example of a lady getting her foot in the door, and because properties go up in value traditionally, and on the east side, Denver Heights, they went up dramatically in the last few years. She paid down the loan because she made extra payments, and now she has an asset worth about $150,000 to $200,000 from a lady from Mexico that didn't speak English, doesn't understand the language, and she's $200,000 wealthier than if she would have just rented. And I made money, don't get me wrong, I bought it for $25,000, I sold it for $55,000. She paid me 12% for the 10, 15 years. So I made money, but she made money, and it's all just about, it's learning how to serve others. And so when I borrow money from private lenders, I'm serving them because they have residual income, they have passive income. They're interested in investing in real estate, but they don't have to get their hands dirty. I am selling houses at high interest rates, but people are becoming homeowners. And then I'm making a profit. So it's just win-win-win.
For those who are starting out, piece of advice, how to get private money. I know you hit on earlier, but come on, if you're starting out today, first, knowing what you do, go back in time, what would you do?
So I joined a multi-level marketing business a few years ago. I'm a very good salesman, I love sales, that's all I've done. I did very well in it. But they always would talk about getting into people's hot markets. And I never understood what does it mean to get into somebody's hot market. So when I first started 26 years ago, I had an insurance agent, and his name was Jimmy Tobin. And I said, Mr. Tobin, I'm looking for a private lender. Is there anybody that you can refer me to? And he says, yes, I have a friend at my synagogue, and he would be very interested in this. So we called his friend at the synagogue, and he introduced me. He vouched for me. When he vouched for me, this private lender said, I'll do it. I'm going to charge 18%, but I'll do it. I got into Mr. Tobin's hot market. I didn't know what I was doing at the time. I just thought I'd ask for referrals. So I got into his hot market. So this multi-level business taught me, the light bulb went off. If I can get into people's hot markets and ask them for money, and they start making money by lending private money, but then started asking for referrals, I'm getting into their hot market. So like I was telling my son the other day, man, you can't go to McDonald's, or I go to the gym a lot, and I'm in the locker room, and I'm gonna go look at somebody who I think is wealthy, and I'm gonna go ask him for $500,000, and he's gonna say, I'll lend you $500,000, without even knowing me. It's rare. But if I develop a relationship with a private lender, do the right thing, make my payments on time, and then go ask that private lender for a favor, can you introduce me to a friend or a family member that would like to make residual income from real estate in the form of loans like you're doing it? When you start doing that, you're getting into their hot market, and now they're vouching for you. And when the light bulb went off in my head, I think I've raised probably about $20 million in private money by just asking for referrals.
So instead of asking directly to this person, that person, you're asking them for referrals.
You gotta get that first one.
Right.
You gotta get that first one. But after you get that first one, you ask for referrals.
How often do you pay your private lenders?
How often?
Yes. Monthly, quarterly?
Monthly.
Okay.
I'm paying monthly.
All right.
But you can structure it any way you want. You can structure it quarterly, you can structure it annually, you could structure it once a year. The cash flow is gonna come in so much more, but I just decided I was gonna do it monthly.
Here's one that a lot of people don't get. You borrow money from somebody, and your tenant, your rent-to-own, your owner-finance buyer doesn't pay. Do you still have to pay the underlying lender?
Yes, you go pay the underlying lender, yes.
So just because you're making money doesn't mean you shouldn't have some reserves. You should always have some reserves. You should presume that some of your tenants, some of your occupants will not pay, and you still have a responsibility to pay them. You with me? Are you concerned with any SEC rules?
My understanding is that if you have a relationship and you know the people, you're fine. I obviously know the people. I'm asking for referrals. I get to know the new private lenders. And at the end of the day, they have a promissory note. So no, I do not worry about SEC regulations.
So my advice to you
And
is...
I'm not pulling people's money together.
No, not at all.
So if I have a loan for the one I told you about for $105,000, one lender is gonna have the loan for $105,000.
So the trick is disclose, disclose, disclose. And two, like you said, close out a title company, provide title insurance, get homeowners insurance, do everything you can to protect that lender. And don't just meet them once, hey, Sam, can I have some money? No, talk to them a few times, get to know them, have them come out to your project, call them, text them. Don't use your private money immediately. Build some rapport with them. Document when you talk to them. What I've understood as a lawyer is that you really need to have like 4 or 5 touches with them before they ever lend you any money. Okay? Sam, are there limited deals out there?
There are unlimited deals out there. Ron LeGrand taught me years ago, become a transaction engineer. Didn't know what it meant until I figured out being a transaction engineer is solving people's problems. When you can become an expert at solving people's problems, it's unlimited. And you can pay more money if you can buy a house from somebody owner finance. You can pay more money if you're doing a subject to deal. You don't need money if you're doing a subject to deal. You're just taking over people's debt. It's unlimited.
There's a guy out there, Chris McClatchy, I think his name. He's an attorney out of Florida, and now he's in Ohio. And he taught me the power of zero. And you remember that? So he would say, okay, anybody have a house here worth 100 grand? What if I offered you $5 million right now? Would you take it? Sounds good, right? I'll give you your price if you give me my terms. I'm going to pay you $150 a month until I pay you off. Seriously, which would take 13,000 years, at 0% interest. But the point was made. Don't focus so much on the sales price, it's the terms. So if Sam's going to a seller and it's free and clear, and he might say, hey, what are you going to do with the money from this sales? Put it in the bank. Make what? 0.5%? 0.5%. Make you a deal. Everybody's going to offer you 50, 60,000. I'll make it 100,000. That's right, 100,000. And no money down, no interest. I'm going to pay you $500 a month. I'll take care of the tax and insurance. You're going to owner finance it to me. You're going to get mailbox residual money every month, $500 a month for the next, 10 years. And at the end of 10 years, there's going to be a balloon. So what is that? 500 times 12 is 6,000. After 10 years, 60,000. I'm going to still owe you 40 grand at the end. You with me? But what I can do then is turn around and owner finance it to my buyers at hypothetically $1,000. And after tax and insurance, I'm still clearing $300. Y'all get what I just did there? No money down deals. Ron LeGrand, Robert Allen. This is what they do. Your job is to convince your sellers that it's in their best interest to do this. There you go. Become a transactional engineer. Sam, what is the biggest issue you run into doing your business? Acquisitions or reselling?
Acquisitions, there's a huge market for people that want to buy a house that can't go to a bank. People would love to buy a house if they don't, they're intimidated. So they know that there's an owner finance or a rent-to-own program where they could eventually. So selling houses, we have no issues with. It's the acquisitions. We're constantly looking to acquire more properties. With Morsa Homes, we have 2 acquisition agents. We're looking for a third, somebody that we can train, but we're constantly looking to purchase more properties. And we do a lot of marketing. Right now we're utilizing virtual assistants. We have a virtual assistant in India, his name's Bernard. And we also acquired another virtual assistant, her name's Paula, in India. And they are doing auto dialers, and they're setting appointments for our acquisitions agents. So we're constantly looking for more properties to buy. Because as soon as we buy them, fix them up, we can sell them on financed. And if you go to Morsa Homes on Facebook, you can see what our final product looks like.
What's the website?
Morsa Homes.
How do you spell that?
M-O-R-S-A Homes, and it's on Facebook.
There you go.
You'll see our inventory of houses, and we do a good job. We do a very good job of making houses look beautiful and very desirable. And you can see the terms that we're selling them for, but you can follow us on Facebook to get an idea of what our business model looks like. And we're talking about real estate homes, the way we think about it. You can do the same thing with mobile homes. Mobile homes that are attached to real land, you can owner finance those. You probably can buy those a lot cheaper than what I can buy properties for in San Antonio. But there's a lot of people making money because it's affordable housing. There's a lot of people making money in the mobile home business.
That's right. How do you systemize your business? And before you answer, you kind of already told them some of it. To do some of your marketing so you can have appointments, you hire virtual assistants, and they're doing auto dialers and a whole bunch of stuff trying to set you up. But you also have somebody who does the day-to-day management,
Yes.
collecting the payments and sending notices and everything. How many people do you have working for you?
On Morsa Homes, we have 13 people working for us.
So it's a real business,
It's
right?
a real business.
And why can't you just do it all, Sam?
There's no way you can do it all. I think Victor said that you need to have a team. I've learned that a long time ago. I'll be honest with people, I do not know how to use a computer. I do not even own a computer. But I have ladies in my office, people in my office that know how to use a computer and that have computers. I did graduate from college, but I was not a great student. It took me years to do it. There's a lot of things I don't do well. And I just figured out, let me do the very best at what I do, which is basically sales. I'm very good at sales. And let me attract people that want to be a part of my team and motivate them and give them a way to have a better life. Look for people that are interested in real estate, that want to learn real estate. Encourage them to invest. Let them do a deal. There's a young lady in our office that I just did a partnered on a deal. She's one of our acquisitions agents. She just did her first deal with me, and I partnered with her with my retirement account. And her part walking away was $24,000.
What do you see happening with the San Antonio real estate market in the next 2 to 4 years?
I like watching YouTube. Seems like I don't watch TV anymore. I watch YouTube. I really enjoy real estate. I like to watch a lot of real estate YouTube videos. I've learned that, honestly, I don't believe anybody knows. It's just a guess. And they're making predictions. And I used to watch and follow where they said, this year the market's going to crash, and it never crashed. What I know, I don't know. The honest truth, don't believe anybody that says they know for certainty that the market's going to crash. I honestly thought that when COVID hit, the market was just going to tank. And I honestly believed that it was just going to be a frenzy, that I was going to be able to buy so many houses. It didn't happen.
The opposite happened.
The opposite happened. Never would have figured that out. So what I do know is, people are always going to need a place to live. And they're always going to desire to own their own home rather than rent. That I do know.
There you go.
So I don't have a clue what's going to happen.
What are the 3 best things you can tell a new investor to do? 3 best things.
So although I didn't do well in formal education, and both my parents had master's degrees, and they really influenced me to get as much education as possible, what I heard them about education, what I did learn was, and what I did figure out, is it's specialized in education. And I probably would say I have a PhD in my type of real estate. I have done so much studying on the type of real estate that I do. I have done so much studying on IRAs. I've made a ton of money without paying taxes because they're done in IRAs and 401ks, self-directed. So I guess one thing that I would tell any new real estate investors, it's get educated. It's get educated. Number two, I've met a lot of people that are very well educated, but they never get off first base. You gotta get in the game and just do one deal. I know and I understand what fear is about, but you gotta get over the fear. And I tell my son, what's the worst that could happen? You know, if I were to lose money, my wife's still gonna love me, my kids are still gonna adore me, we're not gonna lose our house, it's paid for. And even if I did, I'd go start over, and this time I'd make, so you gotta get over that fear factor, and that's something that's really important. So that's the second thing. The third thing, I guess, for me, is having that emergency fund. Emergency fund has bailed me out. You know, me, the way, I'm a Christian, so I try to live my life that way. I read a Bible verse that impacted me many years ago, and it was, a wise man sees danger and takes precaution. A fool sees danger, keeps going, and pays the price. That was a Bible verse that I learned. So it told me that someday there's going to be a rainy day, and I just need to have a rainy day fund that I can overcome it. And I learned that, and it saved me many days where having an emergency fund.
You know, maybe I took it to the next level. I just keep things simple. I keep things simple.
Yeah.
I don't drive fancy cars. I don't have big fat houses. I can buy anything I want, go anywhere I want. I just choose not to. I lived through the 07, 08, 09, and I hit rock bottom. And I remember feeling that. I hated that feeling. And so I had to adapt. I didn't adapt fast enough. And so I was afraid. A year ago, March, oh yeah, prices are going to go bottom. No one's going to want to buy houses. Banks are going to fold. None of that happened, but I didn't care. Do you know why? I lived simple.
You know, debt will bring you down.
Yeah, good debt.
It's not good debt, it's bad debt that we're talking about.
Yeah, bad debt. Definitely. All right, let's keep it going. So, any final thoughts on creative owner financing or owner financing? Any final thoughts?
You know, my thoughts are, I went to a real estate seminar years ago, and it was Peter Fortunato, and he said something to me, and that's probably been about 26 years ago. And I was doing wholesaling, and wholesaling, it's a grind, because you put a house under contract, you sell it owner finance. And he said to the class, those of you that are wholesalers, raise your hand. So I raised my hand. He says, close your eyes. And he says, put your hand out. And now he said, imagine that I go to the ice maker and put an ice cube in your hand. What's going to happen in 5 minutes? In 5 minutes, the ice cube's going to melt. He says, that's the same as a wholesale fee. He says, you don't want to have an ice cube in your hand. He said, Sam, you want to have the drippy faucet effect. I said, what's the drippy faucet effect? He says, it's going to drip for the next 30 years. And he says, that's what owner financing will do. So the light bulb went off on my head. I said, I'm never going to do wholesale anymore. If I'm going to do work one time, I want to get paid for the next 20 to 30 years. And that's where owner financing came in. And I said, I'm going to be the very best at owner financing.
Buddy mine.
As always, thank you for watching. For more real estate investment and legal real estate content, please subscribe to our channel. Please follow me on social media, which you can find linked in the description below. Don't forget to visit thevictormaas.com, where you can register for coaching and my future events. To listen to the podcast, please search for The Victor Maas Real Estate Show, wherever you listen to podcasts. Also, link below. Until next time, this is Victor Maas, sign off. Take care.